Hi, it's Steve. Today we'd like to show you how to change the broil element on your range. It's a really easy job. Let me show you how we do it. Now to replace this part, we will need to disconnect power to the range. So either locate the electrical panel, turn off the appropriate breaker, or remove the appropriate fuses. And we'll also have to access the back of the range, so you'll need to pull it forward so that we can get at the back panel. Now that we have access to the back of the range, change that broil element, we can get away with just removing the lower back panel. So we'll start with the 4 screws on the sides. There's 1 screw that secures the upper back panel to the lower back panel. We need to remove that. And then the 1 remaining screw that holds it to the bracket. Then we can flex that panel and just untuck that top edge, tilt it back, lift it off, and then we'll set that aside. Now with the back panel removed, we'll see the wires that attach to that broil element. First thing we'll do is to check those and make sure there's no signs of any arcing or corrosion on those terminals. And if there is, you'll need to replace them. So we'll just go ahead and pull those wires off. Normally there's not enough slack wire to be able to pull that element through to connect it from the inside, so it's easier to remove this back panel and do the repair in that method. So both wire terminals are fine. We'll now go to the front of the oven so that we can remove that element. So next we'll open up the oven door. It's easier to remove any racks that may be in the way. And at the top, at the back, you'll note that the mounting brackets for that element have a screw on each side, so you'll need to remove those. Now there are 2 support wires to suspend that element from the ceiling. But you should be able to just pull it forward. And you need to tuck the ends down a bit to clear that support wire. And lift the old element out and discard it. Now when installing the new one, take note of the shape of the 2 terminal ends, how they will be offset. We need them so that they tilt up, so that the terminals are higher than the element. Now again, we're going to take the center 2 loops on that element, set it up over top of those support brackets, while keeping the end terminals below it. Line up the terminal ends with the holes in the back of the oven cavity. And just push them all the way to the back until they're flush. Then we'll reinstall the mounting screws. Reinstall the racks. And now we'll go to the back of the oven so that we can reconnect the wire terminals to the element. Now that we're at the back of the range, we can reconnect those terminals. Make sure they fit on nice and snug. And if they're a bit loose, just take a pair of needle-nose pliers and give them a gentle little crimp. And now we're ready to put the back panel on. In this model, we need to engage that lip on the bottom of the panel, these tabs that are protruding from the back. Make sure that's engaged. And then we'll flex that panel just enough so that we can tuck the top edge underneath. Now just make sure that screw holes all line up before you tighten any screws. Then snug them all up, and we're now ready to push that range back into position. And now we're ready to reconnect the power, and your repair is complete.